Great to have you with us. Now, residents of Michelle Camp have handed over pieces of metal believed to be parts of missiles that hit their homes in Wednesday dawn's explosion to Chief Commanding Officer of the Michelle Camp's barracks, Lieutenant Colonel Asari. Now, at least 3 homes were hit and partially destroyed by the objects that fused out of the base armory department at Michelle Camp. Some of the residents have been recounting what they heard and saw at the time of the incident.
We just heard our buildings vibrating. So my mom came out of her room and she was telling me, "Did you hear the sound?" I said, "Yes, mommy." I know, "What is this?" And she said, "No, they are alerting us to come out of our rooms and stay outside because there was a fire outbreak in the camp." So we were just seeing the whole thing as if we were dreaming. We couldn't understand. So we have to stay outside for hours at the mercy of mosquitoes. So it was very terrific. But we thank God, God has delivered us. But we pray that something to be done immediately, because if it should happen the next time, I don't even know how to explain it. I just can't explain, my dear. I can't explain.
It is 12:30. I was praying. Then I just heard the blast. Then I heard one soldier came out from the place shouting, "Call fire service, call fire service, fire, fire, fire." So I also went and woke up my husband and called my daughter that there's something going on here. So he should call fire service. Then he also that fire service said, "Oh, there's something going on here." So she said, "Oh, they responded that they are coming." But my concern is that this big place. So after I came to interview one of the soldiers, because when it happened, they ran to our place. They said this place is a little safer. So I was asking them that, so this big place, formerly there was a fire tender here, a car here always. But nowadays we don't see the car. He told me the car is not working anymore. Then I was asking them, how can this big place without a fire tender, which is very dangerous? That's my concern. If there were to be a fire tender here and it's happening, they could have controlled the fire. But because there was nothing like that, if not because of the grace of God, we could have died.
Meanwhile, the assemblyman for the area has been impressing on authorities as the camp to reconsider and relocate heavy weapons which pose danger to residents.
Is this the first time this is happening here?
Well, this very devastation is the first time, but fire has ever gutted the armory some years back, I think either 89 or 1990, somewhere like that. But that came in the afternoon, but this came in the night. And this is the first time we've experienced explosives that strike into the community and even affected some part of people's residence. So this is the first time we've come across this highly devastating situation.
Okay. Can you tell me your personal experience of what happened at dawn?
Well,
where were you?
We were all in bed when we heard noise coming from all over. And we heard people shouting. So we all came out and we saw that there were flames. So some of us who grew here knew definitely to be the armory. And when we came out, we heard the explosives coming. And it was really devastating. Everybody was just running for his or her life. And it was really scary. And I believe if it's not by the grace of God, I don't think today you see people standing here. There were other explosives. If the fire had gutted those buildings, then I think the whole community would have been wiped out, even within the Michelle Camp itself. And I believe maybe there will have been mass burial in Ghana, which that counts some of the military men who were at post gave. All of them ran for their life. None of them stood at the premises until experts who are armory experts came around to manage to get in and try to do some disconnection before even the fire service could even go in. But the fire service was even stopped not to get close. So it's not something that was really a friendly situation at all.
I've been to 2 structures, one room behind you and another kiosk here, that have been hit by rockets, if I should call it, because that's what I heard one of the soldiers call it. Did you hear the impact at the time, and what was your reaction? Did you see the kind of missile it was? Yeah,
I've seen the metal. We all heard and we saw metal flying. One fell here, one at that building, and then one also at the entrance to the community. Others, we didn't know where they really went to. So it was really intervention of God, because what really struck, the gentleman just moved out of his room and the metal landed at the place. According to his, so he just moved out of his room and then he heard the sound. And when he went there, he saw the metal lying just by his gate. So I believe it's by the intervention of God.
I saw the military around trying to retrieve the metal. Do we know where it is?
Yeah, I've called the gentleman to come and get it for us.
He has it?
Yes, okay. We kept it so that...
Why did you have to keep it? One would say you would be afraid that it could explode. Anything else could happen?
No, it was something that has already finished doing its work.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So...
How do you know? How were you able to tell? Tell us.
Oh, but if something is really having a use again, you see it, because this is something that you see that everything is always, it's only the metal that was there. So we kept it that this morning we'll go and hand over to them. But he just went somewhere, so he's coming back and we'll pick it and give it to them.
Okay. Is there anything you are asking to be done about this situation? You may never know what would happen tomorrow. Well,
we've all talked about relocation of highly explosive metals from the armory. Since development has catch up with the armory, you can't talk about relocating the multitudes that have settled here, because it's not only this community. People around the Sebrepo, Saki, Bediakun, and the new Sebrepo, all over. When this armory was put up, there were people settling here, but they were predominantly peasant farmers and cattle rearers. But today, look at the development that have come up. And I believe the best is to relocate the highly explosive metals in the yard to area that we don't have settlement, so that government can take steps to protect the boundary of that armory, than to talk about demolishing settlements here. That will not be an ideal situation. So I believe this has affirmed our call for all these years that government needs to do something about this armory. And I believe maybe it's God's intervention for government to hear the cry of the people who have settled here and are living here.
Still on this story, 93-year-old Janet Adai says she fell several times upon hearing the explosion. She tells Joy News her knees and shoulders are hurting because her children had to drag her on the ground to safety.
Okay, so
young body, yeah, Vina Balimo, Helemo, Tati, Majo, my wedding, my giant dear Tommy, a colevim, Culamave, Levim, Imitone, Toto, a son, a man for Batari, may I quell Tom. Kakakaya, no, him, Kaka, do him, Megatone, the zone. Vinha lema for ele me on ele vementa imanga got one.
So now grandma is getting a bit emotional. You can understand. She's 93 years old. So while all of this has been happening, she's been falling down all the time. She tells me one of her children in Bishley actually called her to check on her, whether she's okay. And before they realized another explosion again, they actually heard noise that somebody's house had been hit by a rocket. And that's also prompted another running, and in the course he fell down again. All she could realize was that everybody was pulling her left and right with the hope to take her to safety. That's why she's crying. She says her knees are hurting her because she was dragged. They dragged her on the floor just so nothing will happen to her. But later she managed to speak to her daughter to assure her that she was fine and that she's okay. Nothing actually happened to her. That's the story here. Grandma Janet is 93. She's at Kakasunanka #1, which is just about 20 meters away from the military base where the explosion happened. Just across the street. They went to cross the road. Her house is about 2 compounds away, and she's sitting here in the morning after the incident trying to just
Now later, the assemblyman for the area collected remains from the weapon that hit some of the homes in Kakasunanka number 1 and gave them to officers at the ammunition depot at Michelle Camp. And in your shots, there are some of those parts that he gathered and returned. Now, away from that story, the Volta Regional Police Commander, DCOP Francis Doku, has disclosed that a stockpile of ammunition has been discovered in the Alavanyo area in the Hohoe municipality of the Volta region. According to him, over 70 AK-47 assault rifles are being kept in a location in the conflict-prone area where guns are being manufactured. He, however, fears that community members would employ all means available to restrict the security services from impounding the said ammunition due to their personal interests. DCOP Doku was speaking at a presser on recent shootouts, which he said was a crossfire between Alavanyo youth and security officials, leading to the death of 3 on Sunday and a man in his 70s in Alavanyo Peme on Monday.
You and I know that when it comes to manufacture of arms, Alavanyo is leading across the country and even West Africa. If you don't have that fact, I am telling you, as we speak, there are people who go there on duty to guard the manufacturing base. So as weapons are being imported into Alavanyo, they themselves are manufacturing weapons. What are they manufacturing the weapons for? To go and kill grass cutters? Their target is human beings like you and I. So they will do all out to defend their position. And I'm surprised some of you listen to what they tell you, more than what we tell you. Look, there is a location that we have identified where over 70 AK-47 are being kept.
In Alavanyo?
Yes.
It's new.
It's been there for some time now. See, you are forcing me to tell you. You are forcing me to tell you things that will frighten you, but that is the truth. There is a location. There is a location where over 70 AK-47 assault rifles are being kept.
In Alavanyo.
In Alavanyo. But the chief, if he comes here today, will tell you that there is not even a single AK-47 in this area.
Maybe he's not aware.
If the police are aware, why would you go in for that?
Maybe he's not aware of it. What are you waiting for? I mean, this is serious security.
So if we begin to pick one by one, I will not reduce the numbers. And will they allow us to do that? They will put all manner of defenses because they have an interest.
Away from that issue, campaign coordinator for the Integrated Social Development Center, ISODEC, and chair for the Civil Society Platform on Oil and Gas, Dr. Steve Manteau, says the $2 billion bauxite for infrastructure deal with Chinese firm Sinohydro is a desperate move by a government lacking money to fund its infrastructure projects. He says a proper due diligence and public consultation was not done on the deal.
Government has decided and nothing actually prevents government from doing what it is doing. But the point I make is that what government is doing with our bauxite cannot be done with our petroleum reserves. And this is because our petroleum laws prohibit the collateralization or the mortgaging of our petroleum reserves. And so I say that if this is the position of the law with respect to oil reserves, it must be for good reason. And so those same good reasons should have prevented the mortgaging of our bauxites the way it's being done currently. My other worry or concern has to do with the fact that I haven't seen any cost and benefit analysis of whatever government is attempting to do with our bauxite, let alone to call for a public consultation on that document. To the extent that the resource is nationally owned, I think the people deserve to be consulted when such a major decision is being taken in their name. And this hasn't happened. We do not have a lot of details to even be able to do any proper due diligence and some analysis on what this portends for this economy.
You think?
Now, speaking on Corruption Watch on the Super Morning Show today, Dr. Mantiao also expressed disappointment that government has done nothing since President Akufo-Addo in 2018 revealed that $5 billion worth of gold was exported to UAE illegally.
Beyond that official pronouncements, the acknowledgement that we are supposedly exporting more than we are capturing officially in our official data, what have we done about it? Nothing. But it is possible to do something. It is possible to try and set your investigative machinery in process to be able to understand the modus operandi of those who are involved in illegal shipment of goods out of this country. You could even, as a starting point, collaborate with the customs. We are part of the World Customs Union. Collaborate with the customs authorities in these countries that are receiving our gold. They, to the extent that they are recording these as shipment from Ghana, for me, presumes that they have the names of those who did their export. Otherwise, you can say, you can establish that this is from Ghana. So, getting the data, the forms, whatever it is, the records, and then trying to find out from that records who are the ones in Ghana who did the export will help you to trace backwards to whoever is shipping the gold out of Ghana. And I've engaged people in very high places, and I can say for sure that we are doing nothing in terms of trying to understand the situation so we can able to put measures to forestall their reoccurrence.
Of a syndicate which produces fake DV vehicle registration plates have been arrested. They were picked up in a special operation following collaborative efforts between police and Love FM in Kumasi. It is the second of such arrests in a crackdown. Nana Sensu-Mensah witnessed the arrest and now reports.
It is imagined 2 or more vehicles could have the same DV registration on the streets of Kumasi or Accra. Personnel of the Police, Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate used to restrain movement of vehicles with DV plates from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. On January 6, 2018, however, the Inspector General of Police, Asante Apietu, in an internal memo, reminded all commanders on road traffic regulations to support such enforcement. Meet Kweku Dankwa, an accredited DV registration plate retailer. He buys the plate from Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority for sale to vehicle owners and sellers. He explains how the influx of the duplicate DV plate is affecting his business.
DV plate, you know, uko DVL, almost the money 230. But before so no 230, this all will be a business certificate. Now with your tax or tax grant,
Before one can sell DV plates, you need tax clearance, business certificate and other documents. The cost of production of a pair of DV plates is almost 350 cedis, but the fake ones are sold at 250 and 280 cedis. This is really affecting our business.
350 Ghana, and so plate in a big 280, 300. And to almost Tobiano, one because I born a old tono crama who say. The old Tony is fake and I say a original. Marco DVL, and your DVL container anymore. DVL office anchor sour cra. Add me documents are called DV plates. The Muya say, Plata de Mameno, every bobby carho. Our brother media dame came. Namen Tiasie, and to me report to my police. And our police also, Abachini Pakra investigation.
Duplication of the registration numbers denies the state revenue, which ends up in private pockets as a result. A joint effort of police, DVLA and Love FM led to the arrest of 2 persons suspected to issuing fake number plates to vehicle owners. They are currently assisting police investigation. Ashanti Regional Director of DVLA, George Afo, confirms his outfit is aware of the illegality, but efforts to track the perpetrators have been unsuccessful.
Yeah, we are always very suspicious of the fact that people are duplicating the place.
we sometimes engage the national security apparatus to assist in tracking some of these miscreants in the society, but to no avail.
He tells Love News he's uncomfortable about the alleged fraudulent activities which deny the agency revenue.
For instance, 2014, DVLA was able to sell about 30,000 DV plays. Coming down the line, 2015, 2016, 2017, and even 2018, there's a sharp decline in the sales of our DV play. Why? Because of this influx of this fake duplicating DV play that floods the market. And it's having a telling effect on the revenue generation aspect of DVLA.
Still live on Joy News today. Now, the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Sophia Ekufo, has declared as unfit a newly refurbished magistrate court offered by the Wassa East District Assembly in the Western Region. Explaining her directive to the District Chief Executive, Madam Sophia Ekufo said the facility is below the requisite standard of the judicial service and lacks the confidentiality that a court requires. In Natalia Kwanz's report.
The CJ made the observations after she commissioned the court on Monday as part of a 6-day tour in the Western region to acquaint herself with operations of the service in the region. Her leadership, Sophia Ekufo, has therefore given the Wassa East District Assembly up to the end of February to give her feedback on the reconstruction of a new magistrates court.
We are making do. This is not the court we want. And so you should already be thinking of another location, or can be anywhere near here. And then you do it the way you want it. And then it becomes, because that's the other thing, we want to standardize. So if a stranger walks into a small town, they see the court, they know this is the court, simply from the shape. Yes. So, and the way it, because as it is, places that should be confidential are too open to the public.
The district chief executive, Wilson Arthur, who says he was expecting a pat on the back from the Chief Justice, said he was disappointed and will convert the facility to be used as a police station and later think of how to mobilize funds to build a befitting magistrates court.
As it is, I couldn't stand there and promise that I'm going to build a new courthouse. I have to take you through the processes. But see, this one was built quite recently. We inherited it. When we came, it was in bad state, but we renovated it and then finished it. And we thought that it's one of the best, courthouses in Ghana. So when he was coming, I was expecting to say that, oh, your place is better than a high court, But she said structurally the offices are too exposed. All those comments have been taken.
So the question now is, until a new facility is built, where would the Wassa East Magistrates Court sit? Perhaps they will continue in the Assembly's chamber.
This is News Today with me, Daniel Dazi. When we return, sea turtles eaten into extinction by residents of Keta, South Tongue District. Thanks for staying with us. Now, capturing and killing of sea turtles has become a booming business in the Keta and South Tongue districts of the Volta region. This situation, officials say, is forcing the species into extinction. Volta regional correspondent Ivy Setoji has more in the following report.
Sea turtles are becoming extinct, but many fishermen in Keta are ignorant about this reality. They capture and kill the creatures at the time the females deposit their eggs. The executive director of the non-governmental organization Development Institute, Ken Kinney, says it is time government made an effort to deal with the situation. Joy News visited Klo Toko in the Keta municipality. Most of the fishermen engaged in the turtle business are from here. According to Ken Kinney, the Office of the Wildlife in the area lacks basic equipment to work effectively. He believes government must, as a matter of urgency, help resource the office to fight the illegal activities in the area.
Wildlife office here is not resourced. They don't have logistics. They don't even have motorbikes to chase and cars to be able to chase people who are doing these activities. So we are appealing to Ghanaians, we are appealing to government to resource this particular office, not only with equipment but also people. They should employ more people to support the work that is going on here.
Wildlife trafficking has a devastating impact on the biodiversity of all countries in the world. Due to illegal poaching, the loss of wildlife has risen drastically in West Africa over the decades. Manager of the Keta Lagoon complex site, Karim Abdul Salifu, said more needs to be done by both authorities and communities in the protection of sea turtles.
We are always on the radio warning them about the consequences of being seen killing this reptile. Some of the community members are helping us in this work, but there are others who have said they will not stop this work. Currently, as I speak to you, we have 3 cases at the police station and they are preparing them for the Angoga District Magistrate Court.
Okay, so if they don't stop, what would you do?
Yeah, if they don't stop, and those who are perpetrating this kind of crime, once we get you, we'll take you to the police station and then they take you to the court.
Ivy Setoji's report for Joy News.
Now, help has come for students of Kalpohin Senior High School as an old student donates 100 dual desks to the school. The metal desk at a cost of 12,000 Ghana cedis presented to the school at a short ceremony this morning. Joy News in November last year reported the congestion and lack of furniture challenges facing the Kalpohin Senior High School, and this attracted the attention of a former student to support the school.
It was a great moment of joy for authorities and students of the Kalpohin Senior High School when Alhaji Idrisu Suleimana, also known as Professor Kalimonia, presented the furniture to the school. He said he was touched by the plight of the students when he saw the story and decided to contribute his widow's mite towards the school.
I heard a story on Joy News about my old school, and it hurt me. So I took that opportunity to donate this to the school as a help to the President Free SHS policy. As an old student and the Northern Regional Council of Patron, I have to help the government execute his free SHS policies.
The headmistress of the Kalpohin Senior High School, Alice Deura Achana, thanked Professor Kalimonia for the kind gesture and promised they will maintain the furniture and put it to good use.
I want to, on behalf of my staff and students, to thank my municipal director for her presence to receive this donation, and particularly our Honorable Mr. Kalimonia, who is also a past student and the vice board chairman. In fact, we all have to put hands on deck to ensure that all children of school-going age have access to education. And I promise that I will take good care, and the children or the students will use it for the betterment of the free SHS program. We thank all stakeholders, and we pray, like the proverbial Oliver Twist, we continue to ask for more.
Some of the students who spoke to Joy News said it was a relief and they could now sit comfortably and learn.
Gift or donation from the Honorable Vice Chairman. In fact, we are very excited. We are glad and we pray that the Almighty will grant him enough resources to give us more because we still need more.
Loudly.
We are very thankful.
Loud, yeah.
For the furniture that we give because we are always suffering for furniture. And it is very difficult for us.
Madam, talk like loudly.
And it is very difficult for us.
Start again.
So I'm grateful to God for the furniture that they give us because we are always suffering for furniture. And it is very difficult for us to learn.
Good to hear some good news for a change. Now, up next in business, Unilever Ghana outdoors a new factory plans in Tema, and government downplays complaints about high costs of doing business. Stay tuned for Daryl.